Steve. Today's Friday, May the 2nd. And I just finished watching an absolutely epic finish to an NBA playoff game. In Game 6 of the series between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Houston Rockets, Portland led 3-2. And in my drive to the finals pool, I put a big investment into Portland winning this series. So for that pool, I had a lot riding on the outcome of this game. And Houston took a 2-point lead with 0.9 seconds left. In theory, in that situation, there wouldn't be much chance for Portland. But emerging superstar point guard Damian Lillard of the Portland Trail Blazers hit a humongous 3 with only 0.9 seconds left to win the game. It was a complete change from down and out to victory in less than 1 second. And it might be the greatest finish I've ever seen in an NBA playoff game. Speaking of other NBA playoff series, an incredible 5 series are going to a Game 7. Pretty much every basketball fan around the planet is all ingredients, so we're witnessing the greatest first round in NBA history. So over the weekend, we'll find out who finishes off the first round and advances. As for sport in their second round of playoff action, let's talk about the NHL. You made your prediction on the 4 series, and now I'll make my predictions. You use statistics to back up your claim, namely shot percentage and save percentage. But I see 2 flaws in this. For example, it ignores the fact of teams that just hit way more shots than their opponents. Even a better shot percentage and save percentage pale in comparison to being outchanced 2-1 in every game. And secondly, above average shooting percentage is not sustainable over a long period of time. Typically, your shooting percentage eventually goes back down towards the average. Save percentage can be a little bit different as you're talking about a top-notch goalie. And that's why I make my predictions based on a stat known as Corsi. And that simply compares the total shots fired towards the opponent's net compared to the total shots fired towards your own net. If you don't believe in the power of Corsi, here's 2 things. Corsi predicted 6 out of the 8 playoff series in the first round. The only series that Corsi didn't properly predict was Montreal over Tampa Bay. Oh, wait, actually I'm mistaken, they only failed to predict 1 series. So heading into the second round, 4 teams had a significant advantage in the Corsi stats over the season. And those are the 4 teams I'm predicting. One series I expect to be over-predict wittily is the Los Angeles Kings versus the Anaheim Ducks. While the Ducks finished higher in the standings, the Kings are actually a way better team, so I'm predicting the Kings to win the series in 5 games. The other Western Conference matchup is the Minnesota Wild against the Chicago Blackhawks. Once again, this is a giant mismatch, and I predict the Chicago Blackhawks to win in 5 games. Things are a little bit tighter in the Eastern Conference. I'm going to give the Pittsburgh Penguins a slight edge over the New York Rangers and predict them winning their series in 7 games. And while everything streams towards Boston dominating Montreal, I'm still going to pick Boston to win the series, but I think it'll actually take 7 games. Montreal and Boston always seem to be involved in classic series. I'm going to show you one more graph to convince you in the power of Corsi. This graph is the success of all the NHL teams since 2007, according to their Corsi numbers. This spiral graph shows the Corsi rankings of all the teams and where they finished up. The teams in the top right corner are the worst teams, and the teams all the way in the bottom right corner are the best. So it goes top right, top left, bottom right. As you head towards the center, you see where the teams finished the season. So on the outer part are teams that missed the playoffs, and all the way in the center are teams that ended up winning the Stanley Cup. As you can see, while a couple of the teams from the top left sort of squeaked their way deep into the playoffs, the vast majority of the teams that have success in the NHL playoffs come from either the bottom left, so positive possession, or the bottom right, extreme positive possession. The amount of teams scattered outside of the playoffs in the top left and right, and the amount of teams scattered deep in the playoffs in the bottom left and right really indicate what this correlation is showing. For today's BAMF, I'm going to look back towards the NBA. And that distinction goes to none other than NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. After a video surfaced of racist remarks made by Los Angeles Clippers owner Donald Sterling, Silver had to act quickly. He gave it fair and due process, and once the voice in the recording was confirmed to be Donald Sterling, he banned him for life. Now it's interesting to note that the comments of Donald Sterling was actually not too shocking to a lot of people who know him pretty well. In fact, he has a history of race discrimination. Unfortunately, the previous NBA Commissioner David Stern did not do anything to address this. Because in all honesty, there's no way the league wasn't aware of this in some way. But Adam Silver made a huge stride in saying that we will not accept racism in any form in this league. And a huge precedent has now been set. So kudos to Adam Silver for taking decisive and immediate action. Speaking of racism, there's some really unfortunate things said by some really unfortunate people at the end of the Montreal-Boston game over Twitter. When I heard the news, I was completely disgusted to hear that. It's highly disturbing, and I hope to hear none of that throughout the remainder of the NHL playoffs. On the Twitch challenge update, I got 2.5 miles run in, and I'm now at 55 miles. Finally on to Battleship. Your previous shot was a hit, and my shot is B10. So I'm happy to say that my Dallas Mavericks have made an improbable Game 7 against the San Antonio Spurs and have a shot at winning the series on Sunday. So on this Sunday, to the Mavericks and to you, Steve, I say, may the 4th be with you.